Well, hello and good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's supposed to be partly sunny here in Des Moines. You know how they say it's partly cloudy? I'm just waiting for the sun to come out. And today is going to be short and sweet. I might not wait for a lot of people to sign up because, well, it's a busy day. I've been super busy working on the post-summit, post-master class world and working on my book, and it's just so many wonderful things going on right now, along with regular life stuff. So I just wanted to stop by and tackle something that's been really important for me in the midst of all the crazy of productivity, but also the crazy of life. So what I want to talk to you about is super important to me because it saved me. It became really what kept me going when, well, pretty much in every hard moment of my life. I used to think about myself as a loner, as a lone wolf, as somebody that could do all the things on her own, but then I kept neglecting to acknowledge the fact that I have always been surrounded by a strong group of people, specifically women, that hold me up to my highest standards and that hold space for me, even when I'm not holding space either for them or for myself. So today I'm talking about how to find your tribe and why is it so important that we spend time focusing on this, how we are intentional in cultivating our relationships. And for me, it was a life changer. Understanding that it's important not to go about things on our own. If you've ever taken in a sociology class, and it explains like historically, anthropologically, human beings are social beings. This is why in prison the hardest and harshest punishment is solitary confinement, because depriving human beings from connection and contact is the worst thing that you could do to a person. And sometimes we do this intentionally. I know I've done this intentionally. I know that I've isolated myself. What we do is that rather than going towards connection when shit hits the fan, we tend to recoil, we tend to isolate when it's supposed to be the total opposite, right? So for me today, talking about this is just sharing in what I've learned about myself, and what I've learned about other people in their path to cultivating relationships. There's a bunch of women that say that they are not, they do not relate to other women. They cannot have good relationships and healthy relationships with other women. I used to be that person. Like I said, I had a blind spot. I did not realize that most of my healthy, powerful, supportive relationships were female. So now that I am all on board with having a tribe, with seriously cultivating healthy relationships, I want to share with you some of the myths and how to go about them and how to really cultivate strong, healthy relationships, especially if you're a woman. It applies if you're a man, but of course, I'm talking from my own personal experience. One of the things that people find very hard when it comes to creating relationships is the trust situation. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever felt betrayed more than anything, if you've ever felt like you couldn't trust somebody, sometimes these trust issues come from our family relationships, our moms, our dads, our siblings, our grandparents, whoever it is, even teachers that were not their word. Trust is a very big issue when it comes to building a relationship. What I found in my experience is that the more I trust myself, the more capable I am of trusting others and the people around me. Why? Because the more I trust myself, the more I listen to my instinct, the more I listen to my inner voice, the more discerning I am about the people that I allow around me. Because I am a firm believer that we are the result of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Hi, Maria Alba. Can't wait to talk to you today, sweetie. So for me, it's all about, okay, so how trusting am I being with myself? Okay, so the most dangerous relationships I've ever had are relationships in which I'm doubting myself every step of the way. And when I say dangerous, I mean dangerous to my self-esteem, dangerous to my productivity, dangerous to my vision. So that's the first thing I want to tackle with you. If you have trust issues in your relationships, I want you to understand that rather than not trusting others, you are not trusting yourself. Because if you were to trust yourself, you would be centered and grounded in the idea that this relationship is either good for me or not good for me. So once you ground yourself, once you have that level of self-awareness, then you are able to trust others. And it's really hard when you enter a toxic relationship in which trust is the first thing that goes out the window. So that brings me to the really most important thing that you want to tackle and handle when it comes to building strong tribal sisterhoods or brotherhoods or just relationships is self-awareness, okay? A lot of people struggle with the idea that it's really hard to find like-minded humans. The reality is that what happens is that I am not aware of who I am, and since I am not aware of who I am, I tend to attract just random individuals to my life, or people that are alike amongst themselves, but that I do not feel comfortable with. I usually tell the story of how I've had many jobs in my life, and I thought that my bosses were assholes. And I kept going into these situations where all of the people that I've ever worked with have some very particular characteristics and traits in their personalities. And I kept saying, okay, so they have a problem. Why do people around me act like assholes? Why do they take advantage of people? And the reality was that I was so detached. I was so unaware of what I wanted and who I wanted to be that I let myself just attract and go into relationships with people that did not resonate with my authentic self. So what I'm trying to say is, you need to be aware of who you are in order to be able to attract people that are going to feed that greatness in you, that are going to hold space for you and that are going to hold you to your highest standard. And let me tell you, I'm not saying that give up on people. People are all like, if you meet people don't change. I always refer back to my story with my best friend Patricia. We have been friends for, well, finally this year. We had our 10-year anniversary recently, and in that trajectory, we have not been this self-aware. We have not done the work to be in healthy relationships, either with ourselves or with others. So for us, it is really important, and I say for us because this is a topic that she and I talk a lot about. It's really important that you realize that you need to do some really hardcore internal work in order to make it work with anyone else, okay? If it's meant to work. Me and Patty, we got divorced many times. We've spent, in this 10 years, there were spans of our relationships in which we didn't talk to each other. I like to say that she was, in fact, one of my most toxic relationships. And the important thing is that you realize that whether you want it or not, whether you like it or not, you cannot have healthy relationships with others if you do not have a healthy relationship with yourself, okay? So that self-awareness is super important. And once you have that self-awareness, I invite you to ask yourself, okay, so what do I want? What is it specifically that I want in a relationship? What is the support that I need? This is important because it will allow you to start identifying those things in other people. And one caveat, one disclaimer that I have with that is that not one person is meant to be everything for you. You are not meant to be everything for anyone. And I say this because we go into romantic relationships, we go into friendships, and we expect the other person to fulfill all of our needs. And the importance of you knowing exactly what is it that you need and what is it that you want in a relationship is so that you can find people to complement that vision in your life in an honest, compassionate way. So I've seen this a lot in romantic relationships. When once you are in a relationship, then the rest of the world disappears. Then you want this person to be the person you watch TV with, you go shopping with, you have conversations with. and you work out with whatever. And even though I do agree that lifestyle is a really important component in a healthy romantic relationship, having lifestyle similarities, it doesn't mean that one person is meant to be everything for you. So this is where the tribal mindset comes in. A tribe is a place, it's a community in which every person is aware of what role they play, okay? So you need to figure out, okay, so in my tribe, who do I want to be and who do I need to succeed? Because we are not meant to do anything on our own. We are not meant to do anything by ourselves, humans. And for me, it's hard to say this. Like I mentioned before, I have a tattoo on my ribcage, and it says self-made and never made. And it is a tattoo that I've had to reinterpret in my life, because it used to mean that I didn't need anyone. It used to mean that I didn't require support, and it's so much bullshit. I can't remember a time in which people did not help me, in which I could really get through something on my own. I mean, I remember a lot of lonely times, a lot of isolated times, but I do not remember a time in which I actually succeeded by myself. Okay, and this is why there's coaches, this is why there's therapists, this is why I have both, this is why you have best friends, you have a circle of people, you have a mastermind groups. This is why you work on yourself, people, because you can only experience life when you are in a community. The importance of relationships, and I should have started with this, is that you know yourself through experiencing lives with other people. Why? Because everything you do is relative to somebody else. What you do today, let's say that most extreme, let's say you gossip. Gossiping, even though it's harmful and toxic in general, is relative in the moment, because you are building that connection with the person you're gossiping with, whereas you're destroying the relationship with the person you are gossiping about, okay? So there's a relative situation that allows you to figure out, okay, so is this good or bad? What is it that I want? Relationships allow you to really understand who you are in the relativity of the people around you. Okay, so what is it that you're doing and how is it affecting others and how does it make you feel? Okay, so that is why it's important you build strong relationships. That is why it's important you build a tribe that's not gonna eat your bullshit, that's not gonna let you eat your bullshit. A tribe that's gonna help you and sustain you, that's going to support you, but it's not going to allow you to live in mediocrity. Like I said, we are the result of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So today I want you to look around and figure out, okay, so who are the 5 people that I spend the most time with? Are they part of my tribe? Are they supposed to be part of my tribe? Do they represent the tribe that I want to be in? And once you figure that out, if the answer is no or the answer is yes, and you just want to grow your space, go to where those people are. The people that you've identified match your interests, okay? And I want to give you one last disclaimer on this sense. Having a similar interest with somebody does not guarantee that you are kindred spirits, but does not mean that you need to hate each other. And especially in this day and age in which there are so many conflicting ideas, you want to understand that a person's belief system does not make them inherently idiotic or inherently evil. And I'll give you this example. I go to the gym, I go to my CrossFit box in which I found a tribe for myself. And there is one member of the box that I love dearly. She's one of my favorite people. She pushes me even more than anyone else. She is really a powerhouse of a woman. But just in political terms, I am a raging liberal. She is a conservative person. We have each other on Facebook and we share our ideals and we make sure that we stay away from those posts from each other. Why? Because we've understood that what we have at the gym, what we provide for each other, what we create for each other when we need it is more important than our differences. So you want to approach every relationship with the compassion, again, that nobody is meant to be everything for you. And the fact that somebody provides to you something great and wonderful might be more important than the one thing you differ in. And when I say differ, I mean just a slight difference, or I mean just something that you do not agree on. I'm not talking about a person that might be toxic for you, because we sometimes confuse that. We have a person that makes us feel giddy, but in the end is destroying our health, is destroying our emotions or whatever that is, and we do not know how to balance, okay, so the check and balances of the relationship. So it's really important for me that you understand that your tribe does not necessarily mean that you're going to be hanging around with twinsies, but it means that you're going to be creating the support that you need. If you have any questions about this, please drop them in the comments. Send me a private message. I'll be more than happy to reply to you. Like I said, today was going to be short and sweet, but it's super important for me that you start cultivating healthy, wonderful relationships. Mariela, if you stayed with me, I can't wait to talk to you this afternoon. Everybody else, have a great day.